Alright, this is the most expensive PC build I've made on my channel. It's rocking Ryzen 9 5950X paired with RTX 3090 and was built mainly for serious video editing tasks. Sure, you can do anything from gaming, streaming, editing or 3D rendering on this machine. Let's build it and check the performance of this beast. So the main focus of this build is a high-end video editing system. Basically it's the maximum you can get on a consumer PC, as we will be using the best possible CPU and GPU combo. Firstly, let's build it and have a look at all the components we will be using today. Then I will share Premiere Pro, Davinci Resolve and a few more productivity benchmarks as well as gaming FPS numbers. We will be using Fractal Meshify 2. This is ATX mid-tower with a mesh front panel, good flexibility meaning supporting variety of radiators and storage, as well as excellent build quality. Even though Meshify 2 has a decent stock fan setup, we will be using RGB fans. Originally I've installed 4 NZXT fans, but at the last minute they were replaced by Deepcool RGB fans. And so the final build B-roll will feature Deepcool RF 120M fans. To cool 16-core CPU, we will be using 360mm AIO. And that's none other than Kraken X73 RGB from NZXT. It should have plenty of cooling capacity even for prolonged rendering sessions. Meshify 2 supports 360mm rad at the front and at the top of the case, but the top mounting position is possible only with a low profile RAM. So in our case we can use only the front mounting position. The PC case is prepared and let's move on to a motherboard. It's quite a unique looking board, ASRock X570 Taichi. Why did we pick this one? Well, Taichi is a mid-range X570 board for $300 that provides quite a decent set of features. 3 M.2 slots, Wi-Fi 6, good VRMs, rear USB Type-C and internal USB Type-C header. Sure, in case you need a crazy amount of USB ports or 10GB LAN, you should probably go for MSI Prestige X570 Creation. But have in mind, its MSRP is $499 and it's really hard to find one for that price. I even saw it goes for around $1,000. And here we have currently the biggest core count AM4 platform CPU, Ryzen 9 5950X. It's a beast as it features 16 cores and 32 threads with a boost clock up to 4.9 GHz. MSRP is $799, but currently you can get it for around $749. And here we are, the CPU is installed and let's move on to the memory part. And here we are going big, I mean the maximum amount of RAM AM4 platform supports. We will be using a few 64GB kits from a G-Skill, meaning 128GB of memory in total. In case you're planning to use an air cooler, do not forget to check RAM compatibility, as you may need low-profile RAM sticks. Since this is a video editing workstation, we will be using only M.2 SSDs, one for an OS drive, the second one for project files, and the third one as a cache drive. Samsung 970 EVO and Kingston are both PCIe 3.0 SSDs, while Samsung 980 Pro is the insanely fast Gen 4 drive. Should you go for all Gen 4 drives? Well, the prices of these drives are much better now compared to what they were a year ago. But a good 3rd gen NVMe SSD will work just fine even for 8K or 12K editing system. Sure, if a price difference is quite a small one, you can definitely go for a Gen 4 drive and building such a high-end PC. Our motherboard is installed and so we can continue mounting CPU cooler. Removing stock thermal paste, as we will be using MX5 from Arctic. Since it comes with an applicator, I've decided to evenly cover the whole CPU, but for the most PC builds I actually use a small dot in the middle method. As our beast will require tons of power, we are going with a premium power supply from a Be Quiet. Dark Power Pro 12. It's a 1200 watt titanium certified fully modular PSU. Definitely more than you need for such a build. But with such a power supply you will be able to add a second RTX 3090 if you need to, especially if you do lots of 3D rendering. Sure, for our current build 850 watt or 1000 watt is more than enough. Be Quiet comes with sleeved black cables, but we decided to use cable mod extensions, as they are thicker and have a blue color accent. And finally we have Gigabyte RTX 3090 Eagle OC. 24 gigs of GDDR6X memory will definitely help when working with high resolution footage. I will share Davinci Resolve and Premiere Pro Puget Systems benchmarks, and since they are free to use, you can compare the numbers with your system if you want to. Also, I will add an additional PC build to the charts with Ryzen 7 5800X and RTX 3090. You will also find some games tested in 4K. Last touches with cable management, and we are almost ready for a B-roll. In general, Meshify 2 PC case is super easy to build in and hide all the cables, but I had to work on that 24-pin cable extension, but in the end managed to fix it quite nicely. And if you feel like building a similar PC, I will link all the parts I'm using in the description below. As I promised, here come some benchmarks. Firstly, I will run through video editing stuff and then gaming charts later. Keep in mind, Puget Bench uses 4K media as it's easier to test a variety of systems, but that also means our PC build will not show its full potential on these tests. This can be seen on a Davinci Resolve benchmark, as Ryzen 7 5800X PC build scores are pretty much the same as Ryzen 9 system. The situation is a bit different in Premiere Pro, where our PC build got around a 25% higher final score. But in general, rendering times and live playback should be way better with a 5950x PC build when working with 8K or 12K media. Using Blender Open Data benchmark, I've compared not only 5950X and 5800X, but also RTX 3090 performance, and it completely crushes even 16-core CPU render times. This build is not meant for gaming, but it will handle any game using 4K resolution. Sure, I didn't test some latest AAA titles like Cyberpunk 2077, but the ones I've tested ran way over 60 FPS using the highest in-game settings, and esports titles like Rainbow Six Siege or Fortnite can easily run on a 144Hz monitor. So if you are a video editor and planning to play around with a really high resolution media, this beast will handle it all. Worth noting, this is the maximum performance you can achieve on AM4 platform, as we are using the best CPU and GPU combo, as well as the maximum amount of supported RAM. The next step up would be a Threadripper system, but the cheapest Threadripper CPU costs more than a double of 5950X. Share, like, subscribe, as it makes a difference for me and for my channel, and definitely check even more PC builds right here.